Let's take a peek into two very different apartments. On one side, we have a stick man living in a cluttered space, surrounded by gadgets and fancy furniture. On the other, another stick man enjoys a simple, tidy room with just the essentials. Surprisingly, the minimalist approach often leads to greater financial stability. By focusing on what truly matters and cutting out unnecessary expenses, even the simplest lifestyle can pave the way to peace of mind and a healthier bank account. Let's peek inside the high earner's apartment. The place is bursting with pricey furniture, shiny gadgets, and the latest tech, some of which haven't even been taken out of the box. Despite all these luxuries, there's a sense of worry hanging in the air. Even with a generous income, the stick man finds himself anxious about bills and expenses. It turns out, having more money doesn't always mean feeling more secure. Let's step inside the modest earner's apartment, where simplicity reigns supreme. The furniture is basic but sturdy, chosen for comfort and practicality rather than style. Each possession has a clear purpose, from the single cozy armchair to the neatly stacked books on a shelf. There's no clutter, just a calm sense of order that hints at careful budgeting. Here, financial peace isn't just a dream, it's woven into everyday life, one thoughtful decision at a time. Here's the big reveal. Financial security isn't just about how much money you earn. It's really about how your possessions and your money interact. Imagine our stickman juggling coins and a pile of stuff. If he spends wisely and keeps his possessions in check, his finances stay balanced. But if he piles on too many things, his wallet gets lighter, and he might wobble. The key lesson is that true security comes from managing what you own, not just chasing a bigger paycheck. Lifestyle inflation is a sneaky phenomenon that catches even the most responsible spenders off guard. As we earn more, we tend to upgrade our habits, maybe a nicer coffee, a bigger sofa, or a fancier phone, without really noticing. Over time, these little upgrades pile up, and suddenly, our expenses have ballooned. It's like a stickman slowly gathering more and more accessories until he's weighed down by his own collection. The result? Financial stress creeps in, not because we're reckless, but because our gradual accumulation of stuff has quietly trapped us. Minimalism isn't about depriving yourself or living in a bare room with only a chair and a lamp. Instead, it's about making intentional choices and focusing on what truly matters. By owning fewer things, you create space for more joy, not less. It's like clearing out clutter so you can actually see and appreciate the good stuff. Living deliberately means every item, every moment, and every stickman dance has a purpose. Let's talk about the idea of double cost. Whenever you buy something, you pay for it once at the store, but that's just the beginning. Every possession also comes with a second price tag, the cost to keep it, maintain it, or even store it. So that shiny new gadget isn't just a one-time expense. It keeps asking for your attention and your wallet. It's a bit like a stickman who buys a hat, only to realize he needs a shelf to store it and a brush to keep it clean. Let's take a closer look at the second cost. It's not just about money. Storage, maintenance, and even the mental energy spent keeping track of things can quietly pile up. Over time, these hidden costs can become surprisingly significant. And don't forget opportunity cost. The space and resources used could have been put to better use elsewhere. It's a bit like having a stickman juggling too many balls. Eventually, something's bound to drop. Let's take a closer look at some classic examples of hidden costs. Imagine buying a treadmill. Sure, you pay for it once, but then come the maintenance, repairs, and maybe even a gym-sized electricity bill. Boats are another sneaky culprit. Beyond the initial purchase, you'll face storage fees, insurance, and regular upkeep. These ongoing expenses can quietly chip away at your finances, often much more than you expected. It's like your wallet is running a marathon, whether you're on the treadmill or out at sea. Clutter isn't just a pile of stuff, it can actually weigh on your mind. When our spaces are overflowing with possessions, it's harder to concentrate and easier to feel overwhelmed. The brain has to work overtime to process all the visual distractions, leading to increased stress and reduced focus. Even simple tasks can start to feel daunting when surrounded by clutter, so sometimes less really is more when it comes to peace of mind. Opportunity cost is a fancy way of saying that every dollar you spend on something today is a dollar you can't use to invest in your future. Imagine our stick man choosing between buying a shiny new gadget or saving that money for later. The gadget might bring instant joy, but saving could help him build financial freedom down the road. It's all about weighing what you give up now against what you could gain in the future. Even simple decisions can have big impacts over time. Minimalists have a knack for seeing beyond the price tag. They consider not just what something costs to buy, but also the time, energy, and space it demands over the years. After tallying up these hidden expenses, they often decide that fewer possessions lead to more freedom. By choosing only what truly matters, minimalists avoid clutter and enjoy a simpler, lighter lifestyle. It's a bit like realizing that owning less actually gives you more. More room to breathe, more peace, and more time for what counts. Before you buy something new, try calculating its cost per use. Simply divide the price by how many times you'll actually use it. Suddenly, that trendy gadget or flashy pair of shoes might not seem like such a bargain if you realize you'll only use them once or twice. This simple math trick helps expose impulse buys for what they really are: expensive distractions. Stickman's wallet is already breathing a sigh of relief. Let's talk about cost per use, the secret formula for finding out if something is really worth your money. Imagine buying a jacket that you wear every chilly day. After a year, the price per wear is practically pennies. Now, think about a mattress you sleep on every night. The cost per use drops even lower, making it a smart investment. On the other hand, that fancy kitchen gadget you only use twice a year? Its cost per use stays high, no matter how shiny it looks. So, whether you're a stick man or a savvy shopper, cost per use helps you spot the true value hiding behind the price tag. Imagine if every single thing you own suddenly vanished. Would you rush out to buy it again? That's the replacement test in action. It's a clever way to figure out which items truly matter to you and which ones are just taking up space. If you wouldn't bother replacing something, maybe it's time to let it go. Even our stickman friend might realize he doesn't need that extra hat after all. Decluttering isn't just about tidying up. It's about freeing your mind from the weight of unnecessary things. When you remove items you wouldn't bother replacing, you create space for clarity and calm. Suddenly, your environment feels lighter and decisions become easier. Even a stick man can appreciate the joy of finding his favorite pencil without digging through a mountain of stuff. Simplicity brings a surprising sense of liberation, making room for what truly matters. Rule 3 reminds us, never upgrade just because you're bored. If your Stickman toaster still pops perfectly golden slices, swapping it for a shinier model isn't just unnecessary. It's quietly draining your wallet. Upgrading functional items often disguises wealth destruction, as you trade money for excitement rather than genuine improvement. Instead, appreciate the reliability of what you have and let your Stickman save those coins for things that truly matter. After all, a happy Stickman knows that contentment beats flashy upgrades every time. Let's talk about what it means for something to be functional. If your trusty old toaster still pops out golden slices every morning, it's doing its job. No need to swap it for the latest model with Wi-Fi. Sometimes the temptation to upgrade is strong, but sticking with items that work perfectly fine can be surprisingly satisfying. After all, if it isn't broken, why fix it? Embracing functional means appreciating what you have, even if it's not the newest kid on the block. Upgrade culture can be surprisingly expensive in the long run. Each time we swap out a perfectly good gadget or appliance for the latest model, we chip away at our savings, often without noticing. Over decades, these frequent upgrades add up, quietly draining wealth that could have been invested or saved. Even stick men know that a shiny new phone every year isn't always worth the price tag. Sometimes, sticking with what works is the smartest move for your wallet. Imagine our Stickman hero facing two doors, one labeled spending and the other saving. The spending door is covered in obstacles, while the saving door swings open with ease. By making it harder to spend, like hiding your credit card or deleting shopping apps, and making saving effortless, you can nudge yourself towards smarter choices. It's all about setting up your surroundings so your money flows in the right direction, even when your willpower takes a day off. With a few clever tweaks, your stickman self can glide toward financial success without breaking a sweat. Let's explore some clever tricks to help your stickman make smarter money moves without even thinking about it. Adding spending friction means making it just a bit harder to splurge, like leaving your wallet at home or deleting shopping apps. On the flip side, automatic saving is all about setting up systems that whisk away a chunk of your income before you can spend it, such as direct deposit into a savings account. With these simple tweaks, good financial habits become the default, and your stickman can relax knowing their savings are growing in the background. Stickman has a clever trick up his sleeve. He counts his possessions regularly. By taking stock of what he owns, he becomes more aware of his stuff and less likely to let things pile up unnoticed. This simple habit helps him spot items he doesn't need and rethink future purchases. Suddenly, that impulse to buy another hat fades when he remembers he already has 3. Awareness turns into action, and Stickman's home stays tidy and clutter-free. Let's talk about setting limits to keep lifestyle creep in check. Imagine our stickman drawing a line in the sand. This is his spending threshold for each category, like eating out or shopping. When he reaches the limit, he doesn't just hop over it. Instead, he uses a one-in, one-out policy. If he wants to add something new, he has to remove something else. By tracking these categories and sticking to his thresholds, our stickman keeps his budget balanced and avoids those sneaky upgrades that can drain his savings. Before jumping headfirst into a new hobby or activity, it's wise to rent or borrow the equipment first. This way, you can test the waters and see if it truly sparks your interest, without making a big investment right away. Imagine our stickman friend trying out a guitar or a kayak for a weekend. Much easier than buying one and letting it gather dust. By sampling before owning, you avoid clutter and save money, all while discovering what you genuinely enjoy. It's a simple strategy that keeps your space and your wallet happy. Minimalists are experts at sidestepping the dreaded museum of abandoned hobbies. Instead of collecting dusty yoga mats or unused paint sets, they focus on staying flexible and only committing to activities that truly spark joy. By keeping their choices simple, they avoid costly mistakes and clutter. If a hobby doesn't fit, they let it go gracefully, making room for new adventures. It's all about learning, adapting, and not letting their stick figure selves get tangled up in unnecessary stuff. Let's talk about the lifestyle multiplier effect. Imagine buying a new smartphone. Suddenly, you need a fancy case, maybe wireless headphones, and perhaps even a subscription to some apps. One purchase often leads to a chain reaction of extra spending, as each item seems to require another. Stickman knows that it's easy to underestimate the true cost of upgrading your lifestyle, so it's wise to pause and consider what else might come along for the ride. Sometimes, the real expense isn't just the first item, but everything that follows. When making a big purchase, it's important to consider not just the price tag, but the entire ecosystem of costs that come with it. For example, buying a car isn't just about paying for the vehicle. You also need to think about insurance, maintenance, fuel, parking, and even taxes. Now imagine eliminating that car from your life. Suddenly, all those extra expenses disappear, and your stickman wallet breathes a sigh of relief. By looking at the bigger picture, you can see how removing one item can lead to savings in many unexpected places. Before our stickman sets off on his earning adventure, he pauses to ask himself, what does enough really mean? By defining his finish line early, he avoids the trap of chasing ever bigger piles of coins and fancier hats. This simple step keeps his goals clear and helps him dodge the sneaky monster called lifestyle inflation. After all, knowing when to stop is just as important as knowing where to start. It's a clever way to stay happy with what you have, instead of always wanting more. Defining what is enough is a powerful step toward financial freedom. When we set clear boundaries for our needs and desires, we avoid falling into the trap of constantly chasing more. This simple mindset shift helps us focus on what truly matters, rather than getting swept up in ever-expanding expectations. By knowing our limits, we can make smarter decisions, save more, and enjoy a sense of satisfaction that money alone can't buy. Even a stickman knows that sometimes less is more, and that's the secret to staying happy and free. Rule 9 reminds us that real wealth isn't just about piling up possessions or counting coins. Instead, It's about having the freedom to choose your path, whether that means switching jobs, taking a vacation, or simply deciding how to spend your day. Imagine our stickman character juggling options rather than heavy bags of gold. The more choices you have, the richer your life becomes. So, measure your wealth by your ability to say yes or no, not just by what's in your pocket. Optionality is all about having choices, and it turns out that liquid resources and low expenses give you more freedom than simply owning lots of visible possessions. When your money isn't tied up in stuff, you can respond quickly to new opportunities or unexpected challenges. Keeping your expenses low means you're not locked into a lifestyle that demands constant spending. So, while a stickman might look simple on the outside, he's actually ready for anything, thanks to his flexibility and financial agility. It's not about what you have on display, but about what you can do when life throws you a curveball. Rule 10 is all about keeping things tidy with a little bit of stickman wisdom. Instead of waiting for clutter to pile up, try doing small, regular reviews of your space. Think of it as a quick check-in, like a stickman sweeping away dust before it turns into a mountain. This cyclical decluttering helps prevent things from reaccumulating and keeps your environment clear and manageable. It's much easier to stay organized when you tackle messes bit by bit, rather than all at once. Cyclical decluttering is like giving your space a regular tune-up. By revisiting your belongings every so often, you start to notice what you actually use and what's just collecting dust. This ongoing process helps prevent the dreaded pileup, so you're never overwhelmed by clutter. Over time, it becomes easier to make decisions, and your life stays simple and manageable. It's a bit like Stickman tidying up his desk every week. He never lets the mess win. Ready to make a change? Start with the replacement test. Before buying something new, ask yourself if it's truly needed or just a habit. Next, try the 24-hour rule. Wait a day before making any purchase, giving your stickman brain time to decide if it's really worth it. Count your possessions, even if it means tallying up every sock and spoon to see what you actually own. Finally, define what enough means for you, so your stickman doesn't end up buried under a mountain of stuff. These simple steps can help you clear space and make life a little lighter, one stick at a time. Imagine our stickman hero armed with just a few simple money rules, like spending less than he earns and saving a little each month. At first, the changes seem tiny, almost invisible, like a single coin dropped in a jar. But as time marches on, these small habits start to add up, and the jar fills faster than you'd expect. Thanks to the magic of compounding, even minimalist actions can snowball into impressive results, transforming our stickman's finances from wobbly to wonderfully stable. It's proof that sometimes, the simplest steps lead to the biggest leaps forward. Imagine a stickman who starts saving a little more each month. As his savings grow, he feels more secure and less tempted to splurge on things he doesn't really need. This newfound confidence makes it easier for him to resist impulse purchases, which in turn helps his savings grow even further. It's like a friendly loop. Each good habit fuels the next, creating a cycle of calm and financial stability. Who knew that a simple stickman could be so wise with his wallet? Imagine our stickman friend eagerly spending every coin he earns, only to find himself feeling anxious when his pockets are empty. This cycle of spending and insecurity keeps him chasing after the next purchase, hoping it will bring comfort. But each new expense only adds to his worries, making him feel like he's running in circles. It's a bit like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much he pours in, it never stays full. By recognizing this pattern, our stickman can start to break free and find a more balanced approach to his finances. Minimalism doesn't mean giving up everything you enjoy. Instead, it's about making thoughtful choices and focusing on what genuinely brings happiness. By aligning your spending with your values, you can boost your satisfaction without cluttering your life. Imagine a stickman happily holding just a few meaningful items rather than juggling a mountain of stuff. It's all about quality over quantity and finding joy in simplicity. Studies have found that piling up possessions doesn't actually make people happier. Minimalists take a different approach, choosing to let go of what they don't need. Instead of collecting more things, they focus on gaining freedom. Freedom from clutter, stress, and unnecessary distractions. It turns out, having less can sometimes mean enjoying life a whole lot more. So the next time you see a stick man with just a backpack, he might be on to something. Let's revisit our two stick man apartments. One is cozy and modest, the other a bit more spacious, but both follow the same minimalist rules. By focusing only on essentials and avoiding clutter, each stick man finds financial peace no matter their income. Less stuff means fewer expenses and more savings, making budgeting a breeze. It turns out, simplicity is the secret ingredient for a calm wallet and a happier stickman life. When it comes to our stuff, there's a big difference between owning things and letting things own us. Imagine a stickman juggling a mountain of objects. Eventually, it gets pretty tricky to keep everything balanced. Minimalism isn't just about having less. It's about making space for more peace and less stress. The math is simple. Fewer possessions mean fewer worries, more freedom, and a lighter mind. In the end, choosing what matters most lets us focus on what truly brings us joy, rather than just collecting clutter.